What's so great about Victoria, British Columbia? Well, that's what scientists are trying to figure out, because lately that city has been attracting an unusual new breed of resident.
Andy Stewart is fascinated by the Cooper's hawk. He started studying the bird in the mid-90s after he noticed them in record numbers in the city of Victoria.
Let's hit the road.
It's an unlikely home for a forest dweller, one that had once been listed as endangered.
Well, you watch how this hawk reacts when the fire truck pulls up.
Like many raptors, the hawks suffered the effects of DDT. Generations of birds were wiped out because thin-shelled eggs wouldn't hatch. Today, the birds are off the endangered list and have moved into several North American cities.
If this is the same male that was here 3 years ago.
Stewart and American Bob Rosenfield want to know why. Dr. Rosenfield has traveled to BC from Wisconsin to help Stewart take an inventory of the birds in Victoria. So far, they found 24 nests this season.
We had a good day yesterday. We caught, we banded 14 young and caught five of 6 adults.
It's hatching time for the hawks, and this nest is one of the toughest challenges the researchers will face all season. It's 18 meters up, and the only way to reach it is with some help from the fire department.
Number 1 hole.
Climbing the ladder is the easy part. Retrieving the birds can be downright dangerous.
Oh yes, she's got a very impressive set of talons, and she'll go for the head or the shoulders, the high part of the body.
Despite the risk, Dr. Rosenfield is at the top of the ladder, suited up for trouble. If he's lucky, he'll be able to reach into the nest and get the chicks.
I'll be down in a sec. It won't take long.
It's clear right away the female hawk feels threatened.
Just hit my hand.
Well, it's a very aggressive female, and she's defending her chicks from a potential predator, which is Bob up there.
The bird may be quick, but the raptor researcher is also fast. Within seconds, he scoops all the chicks from the nest, puts them in a backpack for the trip down.
Bag of Cooper's hawks.
The researchers work quickly. They don't want the chicks out of the nest for too long.
They're all boys, it looks like. Whoops. They're about 2 weeks of age.
They can gauge the age by looking at the development of the feathers. These youngsters are only just beginning to lose their downy coats.
They can produce enough temperature at this stage, even with all of their full feathers, that down is enough so they can stay warm in cool temps. Mom stays real close nonetheless to protect them, and if it gets real cold, she'll still try to get on top of them. Now, these guys are pretty big.
They're all males. Females would be much larger. Each chick will get 2 numbered bands, 1 on each foot.
Band number 9/X.
The exam shows all the birds are in excellent health. No surprise to Andy Stewart. But the mystery is why the birds are in the city in the first place.
We found that half their prey they're taking in Victoria are introduced birds and mammals, like the gray squirrel and the eastern cottontail. The Norway rat, house sparrow, and European starling form almost half of their diet.
Stewart says there's no evidence to show the birds are starving in the forests. He says they may just be opportunists looking for an easier way of life. With so much to choose from, hawks have no trouble feeding their young in the city. With the exam complete, Dr. Rosenfield is back on the ladder, moving quickly to get the chicks back into their nest. And again, the female adult doesn't like the invasion of privacy.
She's going to smack me on my head here any second now. She has an advantage when both my hands are occupied.
Her aggressive behavior may be dangerous, but it's also a good opportunity.
And I caught her.
The bird that he just snatched out of the air is one that Stewart tagged several years ago as a newborn chick. It's a chance for the researchers to update her medical file.
745 01937.
Back on the ground, the drill is the same with a few extra tests.
We also check for eye color, which is an indication of age, mainly in males. It does start out a yellowish orange color. As they get older, it'll move to an orangish, and real old birds will have dark red eyes.
The researchers are working on a tight schedule. Each day the chicks grow bigger and soon they'll be too difficult to handle. They've got to move on to the next nest.
Boy, he looks wicked. Don't you bite me.
We trimmed his talons because he will clench.
But this time they've got one of the Cooper's hawk's most feared enemies to help, a great horned owl.
Once the birds see the owl, then they'll get focused on the owl. And that's when they'll make the stoops.
A very fine mesh net is set up near the owl's perch. The owl is tethered to the perch so it can't attack the hawk or fly away. The hawk fears the owl and will want to drive it away, but the hawk's in for a surprise.
Unmarked?
With the owl on the perch, the trap is set, and it doesn't take long before the hawk attacks.
That was quick.
With the female Cooper's hawk safely under control, it's relatively easy to get the chicks out of the nest. And this time around, they get a mix of birds, some female, some male.
Look at them. Oh, look.
There's another female. So we got both this time. Here, if you look at this guy, that's a male.
Fortunately, yeah.
These guys are roughly the same age, and that's a female. I don't know if it's obvious to you there, but there's quite a bigger foot. If you look at the size of that foot.
By mid-afternoon, the research team has examined 9 birds up close. They'll do it again every day for the next week.
Oh, I'm sorry, little fella.
Victoria has one of the highest densities of Cooper's hawks in North America. Zeroing in on the reason for this urban trend is at the heart of this study. Nailing down the answers won't be easy. Victoria is a city of trees and parks, perfect habitat for a bird that has traditionally lived in forests. City planners could never have guessed that they were creating an environment for hawks.
And up they go.
The scientists now want to know what attracts the birds and what doesn't. They hope the lessons learned here might make it possible to make cities good environments for other species.